One, two, three, four.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Trial by Error variety show. Recording in very quiet, very peaceful Bandera, Texas. Fucking cell phones, man. Anyway, so we have some bands from the UK today. That's right, the United Kingdom. One is from Birmingham and the other is from Liverpool. And these guys are very respectful gentlemen. We had very rich conversation. I let Bo talk to Vile Assembly and I talked to Revenant Dead. So there's definitely more variety on today's episode because Bo and I conduct very different interviews. I hope you guys notice the difference and weigh in on any one of our social media platforms. Give us a little feedback. Let us know how good we're doing, how bad we're doing. I know some of the quality isn't that good. It's because there's Skype conversations and the last few have been like that, but we're really trying, guys, to get better. So it would be nice to hear from you guys and let us know if it's all right or if it's just intolerable, because at this point, we're trying our hardest to get you the best we can. Keep in mind that we do volunteer to do everything from interviews to promotion to feeding and sharing and editing, and everything we do in our free time. Bo and I are hardworking fellas outside of this as well. So any support that is given to us from our fans, from our listeners, from the bands, we do not take lightly. We greatly appreciate all the word of mouth and just the chitter chatter on the social media. Much love to you guys. The bands that we talked to today have a lot to talk about, and we let them, just keep their answers long-winded because we really want the content to be out there, and we really want other bands to be able to grow from these stories and hear them and be inspired to continue to do what they're doing. And don't give up, don't give up while you're young. Don't give up while you're old. Keep going. If you can play music, keep playing music. It's what helps us. It's what gets us through. It's the medicine. There's so much great music out there, and Trial by Error is trying to bring it all to you. This upcoming week, we literally have an interview every day. So we have 7 interviews. That's so much content. We cannot wait to bring it all to you guys. I'm going to splice some music up in here. There's only one song available right now from the Vile Assembly. It is called Suicide Feast. It's going to be stuck in your head for the next week. They've allowed us to use it for this podcast, so we're very grateful to them. It's going to be directly after their interview. Following that is going to be the Revenant Dead. I have 4 songs of their choice that I'm going to put in there, as well as the single that they're promoting, Rise of the Phoenix. We'll talk about their new album, and at the end, I will link you guys up to how you can get all their music. I hope everybody's having a really wonderful day. Sit back and enjoy the show. How are you doing?
Good. Can you got the volume on now?
Are y'all good?
Good. That's good. Yeah.
All right.
See us.
All right, guys. We're here with the Vile Assembly. I just wanted to go ahead and just jump right in here. Go ahead and tell us about yourselves. Who are the Vile Assembly? What are your backgrounds? Introduce yourselves, and what's your musical agenda?
Okay, I'm Paul, and we are 3 lifelong friends, and we decided on the back of not being recording anything for the past maybe 20 years, we decided to get back together, sit in the studio, start making music.
Oh wow, interesting.
And it was purely a vanity project. There was nothing, we weren't planning on doing anything with the music. It was just something that we could put in the drawer, and say, get it out from time to time.
Okay.
But I bumped into the head of radio for the BBC in February this year. Sent him a copy of it. He asked me to send a copy of the song. Sent it to him. He loved it. Said he was going to get Tom Robinson involved in it. Didn't think anything else of it. And then the next thing was it was starting to get played on BBC Radio. Went all around the country. Then started to get played in all different other countries. We played throughout America. And it just went crazy from there.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it wasn't expected. We didn't expect any of it.
Wow, so y'all went to just from a vanity project that y'all haven't even messed with for years, and then all of a sudden y'all are on the BBC.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Tell me about your material. Like, what sound are y'all really going for here?
I'm not really going for a sound, are we? It just happened. Whatever turns up. Yeah.
Right,
We just ended up sounding some
Yeah.
stuff. It's always the best. Yeah. It's all accidents. It's all kind of happy accidents mostly. We're not trying to be anything.
No.
Too old for that.
We're not trying to be anything. We don't necessarily want anything. But by chance, whatever it is that we're doing is catching on.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We're just moving with it now. We've got other people involved that are starting to help with the promotion of what we're doing. It's singles being released in July. The album's being released in October.
Oh,
I think we're an unusual band because we're kind of a bit of a throwback. Where in the old days, people, we don't know how to play our instruments that well. We're not that good musicians, so we just make a noise. We kind of just do what we want to. A bit like Joy Division or something like that, where it's none of those guys could play, but they made something great, and all we do is just make it in, see what happens.
Oh,
That's it. So there is no agenda.
So I understand that there's a little bit of a political bent to some of your material. Could you kind of scope in on that and kind of just tell me how your politics have influenced your music?
Well, I mean, these are the stuff that I'm writing about in these songs are. This is what I see every day. I see a really evil, detestable system in place in this country, and there has to be poverty for the elite to be rich. There has to be poverty, and it's got now to the point where I'm concerned that the public, the mainstream British public, are becoming almost desensitized to homelessness. Like it's become almost acceptable. We step over these people in the street now. They're ignored. Even the media are trying to portray an image of the homeless situation as if they've got a choice. They've got a choice and they choose to be homeless, as if somebody's main priority is to be homeless. It's incredible. I like writing about that stuff because I like to write about it in a positive way for the poor and in a really scathing way for the filthy rich.
I think nobody else is doing it either. Nobody's done it for a long time. There's not many bands like Rage Against the Machine anymore that kind of, Prophets of Rage, all that kind of thing. It's just like nobody's singing about anything these days. Seems like
Well, for a little while there, I mean, you kind of had like System of a Down. They kind of filled that role for a little bit, but yeah, you're pretty much right. It seems like as far as rock and roll is concerned, you're not seeing a whole lot of that, but you are seeing a whole lot of that in like the hip hop realm. Honestly, where you're seeing a lot
Yeah.
more resistance in that area. So,
That's right. And the problem with that is you've got to like hip hop
yeah,
to be able to go and enjoy the lyrical content that you're looking for in music. And yeah, I mean, I like some hip hop, but it's not something that inspires me. You know.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
It's a Kendrick Lamar tonight.
wow.
Yeah, I know just as well as yours yesterday.
Oh, wow. But I think the main thing about what we're doing is it's almost like, well, we don't want any kind of fame from this. We don't want any kind of any monetary it's not, we're not in this for any money or any fest, because we've already got our set lives. We're all okay, so it's almost like, well, what have we got to lose? We can say pretty much whatever we want and we can put it out there, and if it offends the elite, tough.
Yeah, the UK, it's become really insular musically in the UK. It's kind of, there's loads of kids coming out of stage schools singing about nothing really. They just want to be famous. It's like there's career musicians and they've not really got anything to say. I work in a studio. That's my job. I kind of record bands all the time, and people are already censoring themselves before they've even set to record. They already decided they want to say something that's really cool and something that's going to sell records, and it's bullshit. It's kind of like you should just say what you want to say and then find your audience, and that's kind of this is fresh for me. This is like we're old.
I'm getting there.
And it's a shame because kind of we used to look to the younger generation to say things, but it seems like they're afraid to say anything these days. I mean, so I'm going to get loads of flack for saying that probably. But,
You're right.
I just get I struggle to. I worry about where is the next Rage Against the Machine going to come from? Where's the next Jeff Buckley going to come from? Or David Bowie? It's like those guys, these kind of artists, they're not going to be allowed to have a career. But we can, because we're not trying to have a career. We can say what we like.
It's interesting that. It's interesting for me because we've got that kind of freedom in what we're doing. It's interesting that we can call the royal family for what it is, not pretend it's something that it isn't, which is this very regal, a very regal systematic family, which is filled with evil. It's filled with it, and what people do is they're just wonderful for this country. The royal family is such wonderful people for this. Well, I see them as leeches. I see them leeching off this country. I see them never going hungry, and I see millions of people starving.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. It really is.
How can that be? How can we live in a country or in a world today with such vast amounts of computer technology? We've got, our technological age has surpassed the year that we're living in. We're living in a technological age of, say, 2050, but people are still dying on the streets. People are still hungry. People are still disconnected from each other.
Yeah, it's very much the same here in the States. I mean, there's no debate with that. Not to change the subject, but we're going to go back to the 20-year gap that y'all had between now and your past project. What precipitated that, and what were your past projects like? Were there anything like they are now with the Vile Assembly?
No.
No, not at all. Right on. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we were mainly influenced by, you know, pretty heavy music
Yeah.
back in the day, and along with that came a pretty heavy drinking problem.
Wow. that always seems to be the case with musicians most of the time.
And so for me, the 20-year gap was almost like a recovery process. It was like trying to recover from overindulging in music. And that's why when you come back to it now, it's almost like I still feel like I'm the same age as when I shut the door. I feel like I've got the same things to say, and I still want to say it. But the difference is that we've all got lives now. We've gone on and built another life outside of music. So that's what's wonderful about this, is that we're able to do this, and it's free.
Yeah, it's quite serendipitous. I mean, not very many bands are lucky to have that, really. I mean, even to come back from something like that. I mean, that's definitely awesome. So, in the last week or so, describe an event that really inspired you and that may have inspired some of your music recently, like good or bad.
That's a good question.
Well, I can tell you that people who have inspired my lyric writing is Prince Charles, the Pope, Donald Trump, Theresa May.
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, you should ask her this tomorrow because it's a big day today in the UK.
From what I understand, it's a big day over here as well. We got James Comey testifying before Congress right now, and y'all have an election going on over there, right?
So tomorrow we might have something to write about, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and tomorrow the music that we've made may be put in the bin, because if Jeremy Corbyn wins the Labour, which I hope that he wins the leadership, the election, the whole system should change, because he's all for peace,
Yeah.
and he's for equality, and he's all for the people. So these songs may become dated tomorrow, or they may become even more inspirational, depending on which way the election goes. And I hope that they become dated. Yeah, I'd be prepared to put all this stuff in the bin and have Jeremy Corbyn as the leader of the country.
Yeah, I mean, that must be nice. I mean, we had a chance at having somebody similar to Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, of course, Bernie Sanders, but I mean, that didn't really work out for various reasons, which I'm not going to go into right now. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the system definitely needs to change, and it's going to take a movement of the people to coalesce around a certain person or a certain group or a certain issue to make this change happen. So
yeah. In the song that we recorded called "Last Century Man," in the first verse that it talks about Donald Trump. The first verse is, "I listened to the news today. This bloated corporate had lots to say, but nothing he said made any sense. This suit's now in charge of our defense. He's a modern last century man."
That's quite a succinct description, I gotta say.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. He's like a comedy.
Seriously, he's in a weird way. He's almost like a comedic genius. I mean, he's a savant in a way.
Yeah, I think he is, and I think he should have his own television show. I don't mean that one that he's already got.
Yeah, that one was already surreal.
Yeah.
What's surreal is that the Simpsons predicted that he would become president, didn't he?
Yeah,
a few years ago. It was on an episode of The Simpsons.
2009, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. President Trump.
That was uncanny, definitely.
That's like somebody knows something somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Bill Odenkirk worked at the CIA.
Yeah. I think as well that we're not able to listen to real people anymore. You know, we don't. It seems to be this kind of when the Roman Empire, when that was fallen, to stop the people understanding what was taking place, they put a system in place which was filled with decadence. You know, so like gladiators were the biggest earners of that time, and they were like superstars.
Bread and circuses, essentially.
It allowed everybody to be stupid, you know, and not see what's really taking place. And it seems like we're in a similar type process here, where we're looking at people, and they're earning all this money, and they don't seem to be doing anything. They've got there's nothing that they're saying. There's nothing that they're giving over. I don't see any quality in any person. So it's almost like the system wants us to follow this kind of pattern, this person, to stop it looking at what's really taking place.
Yeah, it's depersonalization. That's the first step towards the type of society that they want. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, the main thing that this system wants, I feel, is it wants humans to disconnect. It's desperate for us to disconnect from each other. Because if it can create a human disconnect, it means that the human will connect to something that is not tangible. Yeah. You know, drugs, drink, food, celebrities. Yeah, because it's not real. Yeah, they want to. So they'll disconnect from humans, you know, and they'll connect to something synthetic.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You know, it's like the ultimate irony of all of that is that, you know, we're so disconnected, but we also have social media and the internet. We are supposed to be so connected. I mean, here we are on Skype, for crying out loud. This is supposed to, you know, kind of bring us together, but it's had the opposite effect.
But what we're doing now, although we're using the technology, it's great because it's human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great that somebody on the other side of the world that we can talk, you know, somebody like us can talk to somebody like you on the other side of the planet. And, you know, we would never have got to do that at one stage. You know, it's great. So that's a good thing. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts.
It is. But then there's, I mean, I recognize now that I see everybody walking the streets with their heads down. And they're constantly in this phone, whatever it is that they're doing, you know, Twitter, Facebook, all this stuff. It's not real.
Yeah,
it's not real. This is not real. For some reason, we've accepted as reality. We've accepted this as our reality, and it's mental. How could we accept something so synthetic as part of our reality? It's incredible. Yeah. I feel like the best thing to do to make a point in this is to walk through the streets naked, to get people to look at another human being, because that's what they'll do. They'll look at a naked person. Yeah, they'll look at a naked person.
Oh yeah. Look at
that man. Look at that man walking down the street there. He's naked. Look. Yeah, then take a picture and put it up.
Yeah. What is in the future for the Vile Assembly?
We've got somebody involved with us that is taking care of the press side of things now. We've got somebody involved that's going to be taking care of the radio side of things, the TV side of things. So all these things is now starting to come together. Not necessarily what we wanted. I just feel like what we're doing now is we're moving with this process that we're in now. It's almost like, well, this is happening. It's external from us.
But
So
yeah, there's going to be shows. We're going to be playing live pretty soon.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a single and an album out in the next. I think the single's coming out in August, is it?
Single's coming out in July.
August,
And end of July, and the album's coming out in October. So it looks like things are starting to move even quicker than what we thought. And you got to remember, we only recorded these songs in February.
Really?
February this year.
Oh,
February.
that's recent, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, so to be at this stage now, even to be talking with you, just seems a little bit ridiculous to me.
It is ridiculous. You know, I work in the studio. That's kind of my job, of working with other bands. And I see bands struggling for years. They take. There's a band I'm working with now who's been recording out for 3 years, and it's still not out. You know, it's going to be out maybe in the new year, and the whole process is such a long time. This is just crazy. I cannot believe it's happened at all. It's just so quick.
Yeah, I was in London. I went down to London on Tuesday. I came back this afternoon, and they were just interviews. Like on Tuesday evening and all day Wednesday, it was just interviews with different press people, different people from TV, different people from radio, and I kept ringing. I was ringing up Mark and saying to him, "This is ridiculous. What am I doing here? What's going on? This is not what this is." I mean, there is a part of me that wants it to stop, because for one month, well, 1 month alone, I don't think I got any sleep. It was just this constant bombardment of people wanting to know stuff about you.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy, and that's why we had to say, okay, look, something's got to change here. We've got to get other people involved, and that's when we started getting approached by different press agents and TV people and radio people that said, right, okay, can you take care of this now? I don't want to do this. This is not part of what I've signed. I didn't sign up for anything.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for anything, and it's now all of a sudden, you know, the thing that people are talking about. I mean, getting approached by record companies is the wonderful thing about being approached by the record companies. Was to be able to say to them, we only need your phone book. We don't need your money. So if you can't give us your phone book, we don't want anything to do with you.
All right, guys. I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Where can we find you on social media? Are you guys on Twitter? Are you on Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, we're on Twitter. It's at Vile Assembly.
All right, guys. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. The Vile Assembly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, as you heard both say, that is the Vile Assembly from Liverpool, United Kingdom. Those guys have an album coming out in October. This single doesn't come out until August. We thank them so much once again for letting us use it and for the great interview, guys. This is the song Suicide Feast.
How can they make these profits from wars and policies made
And now, an interview with the Revenant Dead from Birmingham, United Kingdom.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man. Just playing a bit of musical chairs.
Well,
Yes.
why don't you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Corey. I'm Steve, the drummer. West, vocals. Hey, man. I'm Aiden, the guitar player.
It's very nice to meet you guys. Y'all are the Revenant Dead. I actually just purchased the new album off of the iTunes, and I gotta say, man, the opener is fucking killer.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
So it's pretty raw, man. Like, that's kind of the sound of complete darkness, I think.
Yeah. Hey, I am really looking forward to listening to the rest of the album. You set the bar really high, though, especially for being, like you're saying, a raw content like that. It's definitely so heartfelt and raw. I second that for sure. How long did it take you guys to make this album all together?
Yeah, well, I would say probably around 2 years from the very first riff to the songs kind of, because Theo actually wrote a few songs on this album as well, didn't you, Theo? And it was me that wrote all of the songs, but Theo contributed from a songwriting aspect. But yeah, probably a year, 2 years from the very first riff to what you see today. We really wanted to take our time on this one. We didn't want to rush anything. We didn't want to force anything. It was, I'd like to think it's very raw and from the soul. And what you're hearing is very real. Yeah.
Writing this album, were you ever releasing your stuff while you were playing shows, kind of testing it on audiences as you went, or was it something you kind of waited till the project came together at the end to sort of start introducing to your audience?
Well, we'd write songs, and then we'd obviously going through email and using the internet, because we're all living in different places, and it's a lot easier to get everybody together when you can, as we are now, connect online, on Skype, send the song pieces across, what do you think? Everyone's got their little opinions, and then we make changes and edit here, change that. And then bringing on board different people who didn't necessarily know what we've done in the past. It was like fresh ears to hear what sound we were coming out with, and just to gauge from like facial expressions and how they reacted to it, where we were going, whether it was the right direction, not just musically, but if we were happy with the reactions. Because we're always happy with the music that we write, but we want to be able to get the emotion that we're trying to convey in the music out in the right way. And it's not just a case of you write a 3.5-minute song and that's it, that's done. It's just like when you have a conversation with someone, there's lots of tone and inflection and different ways that you can say words that can completely alter the message that you're trying to convey. It's just sort of like saying, are you all right? Depending on how you say that, it can be threatening, aggressive, it can be pleasant or comforting. The songs, we wanted to make sure that how it was coming across was exactly how we meant it, rather than having any like mess or confusion. Like, this is a really heavy song, therefore it must be violent and angry and aggressive. It's like, well, no, it can be a heavy song, but it can be emotionally heavy, as in the kind of song that would make you feel like your heart was breaking, the world was coming down around your ears.
This is the song First to Last Stand by Revenant Dead off the album Heroes Without Villains.
Don't speak, and knives are drawn, and you might fall on yours. We should have stopped our guns at dawn, back when we thought we knew it all. We started to fall, reading through the night to find where the bodies hide. It's Is that the best you can ask? Faster than last stand, last one to fall. Nothing to lose and nothing else worth fighting for. Faster than last stand, last one to fall. Nothing to lose and nothing else worth fighting for. Bigger bed, trapping, laying in bed, covering over the tracks, nobody's seeing it there. We've been down this broken road before. My God, it feels just like a memory. The headlines blur all the highlights of the tragedy. We've been down this broken road before. Read between the lines to find where the bodies hide. Is that the best you can ask? Faster than last stand, last one to fall. Nothing to lose and nothing else worth fighting for. Faster than last stand, last one to fall. Nothing to lose and nothing else worth fighting for.
I like the idea of that you took it to an audience that hadn't known your past before. That was such a great idea. Bringing with a whole new perspective like that and a whole new style of what you're coming out with, you're going to be building a new audience. So what fascinates me is you guys knew that before you put it out. That's really interesting.
It shows someone who already knows that people have already heard like the first two albums and seen us at live shows. There's going to be a built-in bias there, which you're never going to be able to live up to. They're either going to expect to hear what they've already heard before and it's going to fall short, or they're going to expect it to be of the type or of the kind of thing that they've heard before. And if it's something too different or something too new or just something they weren't expecting, they'll either be polite and pleasant and say, oh yeah, that's really nice, or they may not be able to give you a proper reply or response to it. Their feedback, basically you can never really trust people that are always trying to make you happy, and when people are too close or too familiar, you're never sure if they're just trying to make you happy or if it's what they really think. So, yeah.
Obviously, new music comes out and you hear it. Do you guys find yourselves writing based on influences that you have? Do you look at yourselves as competing with your influences, or are you really just working on stuff that you guys feel is stuff that you really like and you're really passionate about? Is there any sort of contrast there to the people that influence you into your music, I guess?
That's a really good question, actually. I think the music we write is the music that we've always wanted to listen to. And that's always something that I've always thought, riffs that I like the sound of, riffs that, aren't out there. And really, our influences are just sort of sprinkled in. We're big Disturbed fans, Guns N' Roses, Marilyn Manson, Rammstein. But I don't think those bands are in our music so much. I don't know if anyone would notice it even. Yeah, it just influences are sprinkled in, but they don't dominate the music. It is just the music we want to create and listen to ourselves. And also, it's the way we express ourselves. So, we never really even intended on being a metal band. It was never, we're going to go into a room and be the next thrash death metal band. It's just how we've expressed ourselves and how we want to express ourselves. And this is how it has come out.
Yeah.
Well, metal definitely gets a lot of praise nowadays because it's very understood that metal isn't about riffs; it's about orchestration, and your influences obviously had music like that. It was very composed. It wasn't just writing a riff. A lot of music nowadays is just we have a riff now. Let's come up with a beat that goes to that the entire time. And I think that's what I love right coming out of the gate. I gotta say, honestly, I don't know much of your music. I just met you guys through Twitter. But my goal is for not only to listen to your stuff, but to get other people to listen to your stuff as well. And I have to say, right out of the gate, I was just intrigued because I was kind of expecting metal. I was expecting something, I mean, I'm not saying it's not metal. I was expecting something to come right out the gate with maybe a lead or, I don't know what I was expecting. I was probably really off going into listening to it. But I was blown away, man. And I'm very excited that you guys let me talk to you at this point because this is your third album. I can't wait to go back and listen to the other two albums to get a cross-reference as to what you're doing now. I would love to come and sit and talk with you guys again after listening to those other two albums just to talk about the difference.
Definitely.
Are you playing a lot of shows right now? Is that what you guys are focusing on, trying to promote the new album?
Well, we have got a fair few gigs sort of lined up that we're still working out details, things like what we need to bring and stuff like that. But tomorrow, in fact, we're headlining a festival in Stoke-on-Trent.
Oh,
so, interview came at literally the best time. So we've only just finished rehearsal. Where we are right now is in Ravenant Studios in Birmingham, UK. And we've just finished 6 hours running through the set, making sure everything's all good and tight and knowing where we are. And basically we've mapped out how the stage looks, where the audience is going to be, where we are all on stage, and then it's just like, okay, this is the set, go. And and I think we're on like 23 or 24 degrees or something like that today, outside, on the ground, in a room with no windows, there's no air conditioning, we haven't even got one of them big metal fans or anything like that, so if we appear a bit, sticky, there's a very good reason for it,
The same, me and you are in the same, it's literally about 24 here as well, which in Fahrenheit, I think we're the only fucking country that does that, it's 101 degrees. So it's insane sticky. And same thing, my fan kind of muffles my mic, so I don't use my fans in here. I'm constantly dabbling, Sorry, we're melting together, boys.
And now the song Fine, off the album Heroes Without Villains, available now on iTunes.
but my eyes are black. I'm jumping off to get me back on track. I'm standing tall and slipping through the cracks. But in my mind, I feel fine. But in my mind, I feel fine. But in my mind, I feel fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So this headlining the festival, was this something that you guys worked out? Is this something you've been aspiring to do? Is this a new festival? How did this come about?
We got approached. Corey knew somebody who knew somebody, and they wanted us on the festival, and they wanted us to headline. So it just aligned perfectly. So and we're going to be gigging and touring all through the summer around the UK to promote the album. And actually, the response we've had from the album has just blown us away. We never expected it to blow up the way it has, especially having not done anything for 6 years. We're really happy with the response.
Let me go back a little bit. You guys practiced for 6 hours today?
We've always been hard workers in the rehearsal room. 6-7 hour rehearsal sessions, and we'll go through the same songs sometimes 5-6 times in a row.
I think when we were recording the album, that we spent longer than 6 hours when we were doing our stints.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, when we were recording, just there with the computer recording, and probably 10 hours or something, easily. And we did that quite often as well. So I guess I might complain as the drummer when it's 6 hours, but we've done more.
Yeah. You're very conditioned.
And now, from the album Heroes Without Villains, Revenant Dead, Club Dead.
I don't need a reason, 'cause it's easy to lie to you too. A change of the season, 'cause there's nothing else better to do. They call us fools for all the time we lose when we're together, without regret or false intent that we were somehow better. Have I fallen for you lately? Have I fallen for you lately? Have I fallen for you lately? I've fallen, I can't come down. Have I fallen for you lately? Have I fallen for you lately? Have I fallen for you lately? can it be? These memories of me are all you see, and each little lie we make is all we've left from all we break. And I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling, I can't come down. I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling for you lately. I'm falling, I can't come down.
You guys have an election day coming up?
Yeah,
We do, yeah.
I've got my postal vote in the car actually. It's ready to post.
I'm not too up on
Man,
your
I'm not-
politics. I pray you don't have a version of Trump over there.
Yeah, we had Brexit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. We had Brexit. Sort of like the embodiment of Trump. We're not a very politicised band in that we have opinions, of course, everybody does, but it's not something as a band that we want to go out and say our views on, because we don't want people to think this band, us, believes this or believes that, you know, 'cause it's not and influence how they think. It's not down on us on how you think. We're here to make music that we enjoy making and hopefully you enjoy listening to. It's not up to us to decide whether or not you should vote for this person because of what we think, or whether or not you should agree with that policy because of what we think, you know? Politics, religion, all that kind of thing is a very deeply personal and very individual part of humanity, and it's not up to us to say what your view on that should be, you know?
Probably a lot of our music is written from the perspective of the consequence of religion and politics, and things that happen because of them, and the way you feel because of them. People feel because of that. Like, for example, people can feel completely powerless. They feel like they can't really change what's going on. Like the patriarchy's all set up and stuff, and it's going to take a lot from just the way things happen. So I think like people can relate to our music through that. I'm sure we've got quite a few songs about that stuff.
Yeah, sort of damage control on a situation. That you're just kind of there to say, like, look, this happened, we can make it better.
Like Gabriel, not sort of like telling you do this, do that, just like stood right in the middle. Okay, there's this perspective, there's that perspective.
Well, you guys, it has been really awesome, very enlightening. I've had a blast talking to you guys. Revenant Dead, everybody, from Birmingham, UK. Awesome dudes. Go check out the new album on iTunes, Spotify. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, look forward to seeing it. Cool. See you, man.
Bye.
And The Rising Phoenix off of the album Heroes Without Villains by Revenant Dead.
Sweet tableau of a bad decision. I know this show, I'm never winning.
big thanks once again to the Vile Assembly and the Revenant Dead for hanging out with Bo and I to talk some music. Big thanks to my family for giving me a space to create this podcast and internet and all that stuff to reach out across the ocean and talk to people about everyday stuff and music and politics. We're very blessed here, and we know it. So Trial by Error wants to thank our listeners and all of our supporters. That just about does it. If you guys go to trialbyerrorvarietyshow.com, it will link you up to every social network that we are involved in. We've also got some really awesome stuff coming up. Bo is putting together some band bios, sort of a little mini local band Wikipedia. We're the first to do it. That's right. You heard it here. We're going to be creating a little local band Wikipedia. So if you guys want to submit to it, even if you don't want to submit an interview, just submit to us your bio and some songs, and we're going to put together an episode where we just play songs. We don't necessarily have interviews for those shy bands. And we're going to continue to do our cast, like I said, 7 days next week. 7 days, and each day I have a band to talk to. All different bands from all over the place. Seriously, all over the place. It's really amazing. Reach out to us on Twitter, by email. I promise you we're going to get back to you. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait to talk to you again. Please take care of each other and follow the golden rule.